Hello everyone, welcome to episode 85 of our F1 Manager Save. Now if you didn't watch the last episode in Zandvoort, go back and watch that because Lando Norris took some very good points off Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen did not have a good day at all, finishing stone dead last at his home Grand Prix. Lando Norris took the win. Mick Schumacher again, rather disappointingly, down in P8, and we are going to hope to continue that form as we go into the Italian Grand Prix today. The Italian Grand Prix at Monza, 53 laps around here. The expected strategy is a one-stop from soft onto medium or medium onto soft. The hard compound tyre doesn't seem optimal around here. Top speed and high speed cornering, very, very important around here. Previous race results, Max Verstappen won this Grand Prix last year. Was managing Fernando Alonso, finished in P2. Just a quick check on the standings before we get into the Grand Prix. Red Bull are still leading the constructors standings by around 28 points from us. Ferrari, we are in second. McLaren are further back in third. It's a two-horse race for the constructors title. Driver standings wise, Lando Norris has still got a healthy gap on the closest Red Bull driver. The closest Red Bull driver is now Charles Leclerc on 224 points. 71 points is the gap between Lando and him. So really, we're looking pretty good in the drivers, but the constructors, we've got a little bit of work to do. I'm going to get through practice and we'll see you in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix.
Welcome back to what is proving to be an exciting weekend of Formula One action, with practice having finished and qualifying set to follow. For those teams who made the most of free practice, they'll be heading into qualifying full of confidence, knowing that they can carry today's momentum into the upcoming session. Does practice make perfect? Well, for one standout driver, it will make for pole. Strap yourselves in. This is Formula One.
Here we go then, final corners in Q3. Lando Norris is purple through the middle sector. He's already on a provisional pole. Lando Norris crosses the line, doesn't improve, it doesn't appear. Mick Schumacher, he had a little bit of a moment on his first run in Q3, coming around the final corner, crosses the line, only good enough for P9 for Mick Schumacher. But Lando Norris, unless Charles Leclerc can pull out a massive lap, which I don't believe he has done, he hasn't, Lando Norris is in pole position for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher is in P9 but will gain his place as Max Verstappen does have a grid penalty for tomorrow. So a Ferrari starting on pole at our home Grand Prix. That's not a bad start to the weekend. Let's have a look at the strategy. Right then guys, strategy-wise, we are going to split it. We're going to have Lando Norris. He's got a fresh set of soft compound tyres. In fact, both our cars do have that little benefit so far this weekend. Lando Norris is going to start on the soft compound tyre, try and run off into the distance. That's the plan with Lando. Mick Schumacher, he's going to be on the mediums and switching onto a fresh set of softs at the end. Just allows us to stagger the pit stops a little bit, and I think that's probably the best option for both cars, especially at the end. I think we can get a nice little undercut with Mick. That's partly me thinking as well. So first and eighth for the Italian Grand Prix, let's get to 5 red lights.
Here we are at the oldest circuit in Europe. For this, the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are looking at Lando Norris, who looks like he's got a decent start off the line, but then again Charles Leclerc on the medium compounded tyre looking punchy into turn one, but Lando Norris has got the position and will lead away the Grand Prix, and he's going to bolt away. Mick Schumacher already gaining a position, he's in P8. Max Verstappen all the way at the back. That could be crucial for the constructor standings. So far it is Norris from Leclerc. Sergio Perez is in P3. Then comes the two Aston Martins of Sainz and Gasly. Zhou in P6. Magnussen P7. He's been quick all weekend. We are just going to take a quick look. We're going to take a little break from that as we see the cars going into turn one, into that tight chicane. Kevin Magnussen getting the inside line on Mick Schumacher. Kevin Magnussen, little bit of information, did actually top Q1. So that Audi has got a lot of pace in it at this moment in time. So has Charles Leclerc. Alexander Albon again, he's up there. What a race he had a couple of weekends ago in Canada in real life. I think he would definitely driver of the day there. But Alexander Albon is watching this battle with Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen as we ride on board with Mick Schumacher. He is on the soft compound tyre in the Ferrari. I would expect Mick to be getting the job done here. We're keeping an eye on Lando Norris as well. He's deploying, we understand that, but it looks like now Mick Schumacher on the medium compound tyre is going to get the job done on Kevin Magnussen. It certainly is doing. As we go into Parabolica, he's round there onto the start finish straight, and he's going to tuck in behind the Lotus Renault of Guan Yu Zhou as Lando Norris sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he's pushing like mad to get away from Charles Leclerc, who, to be fair, is staying with him very well. Lap 2. You join us back on lap 6, and it's got to be said, the strategy with Lando Norris hasn't worked. Charles Leclerc has managed to stay in the DRS range, and we are now telling Lando Norris to harvest on ERS. We just could not pull out the gap that we needed to pull out with Lando Norris, and now we can see Charles Leclerc is looking to attack Lando, but it looks like Lando's just got the measure of him going into this corner. Mick Schumacher still sat in P7. He's now behind Pierre Gasly. He's been having quite a battle with Gasly and Guan Yu Zhou. Zhou hasn't got the pace of the front cars, but it appears the Aston Martins, like in real life, have got the pace at this moment in time, and Carlos Sainz is the man who's leading that charge behind Checo Perez in P3. Quick little update on Max Verstappen. He's running down in P16, and the soft tyres are not favouring him at this moment in time. Rather worryingly, Lando Norris has not managed to make these soft compound tyres work, and Charles Leclerc looks the quicker car today, it would be said so far. But remember, we have got the mediums to go on to a little bit later on. We've got to watch his fuel as well. So Charles Leclerc looking in very good position, as we can see him trying to chuck one up the inside, coming onto the start finish straight. Charles Leclerc will have DRS down this straight. Let's see if he manages to make the move. We're going on board with Charles Leclerc, who doesn't appear to be able to make the move. Lando Norris covering it off just enough there into turn 1 on lap 7. Lando Norris is leading, but Checo Perez, as we switch back to the TV view, had a little look down the inside of Charles Leclerc, didn't manage to make the move stick, but this little gaggle of 4 cars at the moment looking really punchy at the front. Lap 7. Lap 8, we've got a couple of overtakes happening. Lando Norris did lose the lead of the Grand Prix for a brief moment, but then it didn't give Leclerc much room. Fair but clean racing there from Lando Norris, and did manage to get P1 back, and he's now back in the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 8. But we've just seen a pass from Mick Schumacher. I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of this. I don't believe we are going to. Down the start finish straight, Mick Schumacher managing to get himself up into P6, and he's now got Guan Yu Zhou for company as well. So we're having a look now to wonder, could Mick Schumacher actually blast away from Guan Yu Zhou if he can get the move done? He's having a look with the DRS here, but this is working well for Mick Schumacher at this moment in time. Lap 8. Lap 13, we can have a good look at this. Mick Schumacher getting the better of Guan Yu Zhou, and to be fair, this is a really punchy fight as well. We've got the front 4 guys at the front really battling for the lead of this Grand Prix, but Mick Schumacher is leading this second sort of batch of cars. We're enjoying it in the Ferrari garage. Mick Schumacher is putting in a good performance so far this weekend, currently running in P5, while Max Verstappen is still struggling to make moves and languishing all the way down in P16. He can't get past Stroll and Sargent. We know how frustrating it can be, and I do reckon as we start to look at the tyre wear, Schumacher 75%, Norris has dropped now down to P3. He's conserving a little bit of fuel. We are going to sort that out in a minute. But Lando Norris is now going to have to make a couple of moves very shortly. I reckon Mick Schumacher's in a very good position in this Grand Prix, and towards the end, although he's just lost the position off turns 1 and 2, Mick Schumacher with those fresh soft compound tyres at the end may have something to say about this race. Lap 14. Just to bring you back on lap 18, we have dropped a couple of positions with Lando Norris, but we have been charging the ERS, getting ready for our pit stop, which we're going to be having in a few laps time. Mick Schumacher is hanging on in P6 on the back of Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly's tyres are the same as Mick's, but we've got a couple of cars in front now, Sainz and Norris in particular. I reckon Mick could be on for P4 or P5. He could beat one of the Aston Martins today. Lando Norris, we're just keeping the measure of these 2 cars in front now. As you can see, as we ride on board, which is great camera work from me, as we ride on board, we're just following these 2 guys at the moment, just using the last of our tyres, and then we will be boxing in the next few laps, and that's when we can use our ERS and try and really punch ahead of these 2 guys. So lap 18, we have got a 27-second pit stop time here in Monza, so that at the moment would put us around P17. So something to be aware of there. We need to get Lando out in some good clean air. Lap 19. Lap 20. Lando Norris is going to be coming in to the pits very, very shortly. I think Carlos Sainz may have jumped us here with the undercut. We're going to keep a close eye on this. As Lando Norris comes in for his set of medium compound tyres, let's keep a little look on this. We will have a lap fresher tyres towards the end, and I do think we're a little bit kinder on our tyres than the Aston Martin. But the key point is, where is Carlos Sainz? Carlos Sainz is currently coming round the final corner. Lando Norris trundling down the pit lane. Is he going to get out in front of Carlos Sainz? It's looking like he is, but then again, Carlos Sainz has got that speed coming down. Lando Norris is out safely in front of Carlos Sainz. That's a decent pit stop from our guys. And we've got an incident in Sector 2. We've got a car spun. Let's have a look at what happens here. We're waiting for a replay, and it's going to be Checo Perez, who was one of the front two. He's just got a bit trigger happy on the throttle and spun out. That is going to do him no favours, which really means now I would suggest it's a clear battle between Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc for the win here. Mick Schumacher now, he's saved his tyres, he's saved his fuel, hanging onto the back of Guan Yu Zhou. He's not doing bad at all here, Mick Schumacher, currently running in P5. But has got a pit stop to go. As we know, but he's got a little bit longer to go yet. Lando Norris, I would like to get rid of Carlos Sainz here. I don't particularly want him hanging onto the back of us, but we'll see. Carlos Sainz has played a blinder with the pit stops and has dragged himself into contention with Lando Norris, lap 21. It is all happening here on lap 26. We've now told Lando Norris he's got to get on with this. Carlos Sainz is holding us up a little bit. We've just got the DRS down the start-finish straight now on lap 25, and we've now told him to use the DRS and try and break the DRS of Carlos Sainz. We don't need this man hanging on to the back of us. It's not helping our race at all. But as you can see, Carlos Sainz just sticking with Lando and just keeping getting that DRS. We're dragging Carlos Sainz into this. If we have a look at the last lap, Charles Leclerc 24.5, Lando Norris 23.9, but Lando Norris cannot get away at this moment from Carlos Sainz. Mick Schumacher still running comfortably in P4 now. This little battle with Gasly and Zhou and Kevin Magnussen as well, these three guys all looking particularly quick. What must be said is we have got the fresh soft compound tyres at the end. Maybe some of the other guys haven't. We plan to use them. It could be very, very important for our race. Has Mick got DRS here? He certainly has. And as we can see, he's leaving the Aston Martin there of Pierre Gasly in his wake. So Mick Schumacher driving a good race so far here. A good race for the team. Max Verstappen all the way down in P14 as Lando Norris just sets the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But Carlos Sainz will just not go away. He took 1.2 seconds out of Charles Leclerc on that last lap, lap 27. Huge moment for Mick Schumacher, and it's one of these moments that we've seen a little bit too often this season. Ran wide, didn't lose too much time, but just enough that he's now got to get his foot down. He's going to be told to push and deploy and try and catch back up with these guys. 2.5 seconds that's cost him, and not good at all from Mick Schumacher. That will not help the comment section with people calling for his seat here at Ferrari. Lap 28. Lap 32, Charles Leclerc is pitting. So we've got Charles Leclerc pitting. We've also got Mick Schumacher pitting as well this lap. So we're just going to knock him off standard. And to be fair, I was hoping that we were going to manage to undercut these guys, but I don't believe we're now going to. So a lot of guys coming in. Lando Norris will retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz still battling away. Mick Schumacher, it's a 2.4 second stop. Let's ride on board with him. He jumps one, he jumps two. This could be the pit stop of pit stops, as Mick Schumacher has jumped a few cars in the pit lane. That is absolutely superb work from Mick Schumacher, and what we are now going to tell him to do as he comes out in front of this gaggle of cars here, which includes Max Verstappen, is get the DRS going. The ERS down, and let's pull away now. We don't want to be with these cars. Let's have a look at the interval here between Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen. It's 1.1 seconds, but as far as Ferrari pit stops go, that might just be the best one ever. Mick Schumacher, 1.3 seconds gap to Magnussen. He's deploying on the ERS. He's got fresh soft compound tyres. Have the guys round him? They haven't. Mick Schumacher, fantastic work from him. He is now 1.2 seconds ahead of K-Mag, and we want to keep pushing. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is still battling with Carlos Sainz for the win of this Grand Prix. If we have a look at the gap to Leclerc, it's about 6-7 seconds. So there's a lot to play for in this Grand Prix. There is at least Mick Schumacher. Is there anybody in front of him yet to pit? No, there isn't. Just Esteban Ocon. He's got to maintain this gap to Kevin Magnussen. That's absolutely crucial for Mick Schumacher. He's currently, 1.4 seconds ahead of K-Mag. Meanwhile, Lando Norris battling with Carlos Sainz for this Grand Prix, but Charles Leclerc will be here later on, lap 34. And despite everything I said, we had that great pit stop, but Mick Schumacher hasn't had the pace to pull away from Kevin Magnussen. We said he'd been quick all weekend long, but he's now back in the DRS, and worryingly, so is Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is back in the fight for points this afternoon. 69% medium compound tyres. He's obviously going to the end, as is Russell, Magnussen and Schumacher. Don't write off Max Verstappen for points this weekend. Meanwhile, Lando Norris, currently in P1, has now been told just to go light on the tyres, ensure we've got enough to fight Charles Leclerc when inevitably he catches up towards the end, lap 35. Or maybe we should write Max Verstappen off for points, because he very, very nearly takes out the Mercedes of George Russell. Gets hung up on that sausage curb even. Can't speak today. Before rejoining, there's hands on the heads in the Red Bull pit, in the Red Bull garage and the Red Bull pit wall, I'm sure. Mick Schumacher is behind Magnussen now, but Magnussen has pulled up to Alexander Albon. So Mick Schumacher is very much in the fight for P6, possible P5 if he could use the pace, although I would suggest Danny Ricciardo on those hards is going to be pretty consistent. Lando Norris is, just like I said, keeping looking after those tyres, and then Carlos Sainz will be the man who is hopefully given to Charles Leclerc to fight, and then will bolt into the distance. That's the plan. Will it pay off? I'm not so sure. Anything could happen here this weekend at Monza, as Lando Norris is just keeping on, but we can see Charles Leclerc. If we go to the rear wing of Lando Norris, we can just see Charles Leclerc down the road, and Carlos Sainz holding up Lando Norris rather well. Gap to Leclerc is 4 seconds, although the tyres of Leclerc are wearing, lap 38. Vitally important move from Mick Schumacher. Kevin Magnussen got past Alexander Albon. We got the sense that Alexander Albon was trying to hold us up a little bit. Mick Schumacher got past beautifully with a little bit of DRS. Did have a little look for a double overtake. Didn't quite get that done. One thing to note though is that Kevin Magnussen's tyres will be going off a lot quicker than ours. 69%, 78% tyres for us. Mick Schumacher's just got the position there. Whether he's got DRS, he hasn't. K-Mag will get DRS as he moves to the inside line. Expect this battle between Magnussen and Schumacher to go all the way to the wire, as Alexander Albon is having a little look down the inside as well. It's 3 wide going into turn 1. Magnussen gets the better entrance and the better exit as well. But Mick Schumacher sticking in behind. I reckon we can pounce towards the end of this Grand Prix. Max Verstappen now is dropping off and fighting with the 2 Nissans of Maloney and Stroll at this moment in time. Charles Leclerc is gaining, but at this moment in time those tyres are dying off a little bit, and I'm hoping by the time he gets to Lando Norris we have got enough to defend. Lap 40. But on lap 43, it's starting to get very tasty again at the front. Charles Leclerc has joined the party. The 2 guys behind Lando Norris have got the DRS, but Lando Norris just keeping the tyres. We understand that this is not going to be won in the next 2 or 3 laps. This is going to be won towards the end. So Lando Norris just holding that position, doing very, very well. Mick Schumacher not doing so well. Kevin Magnussen and him once again going at it. This time Schumacher's got the DRS. But Mick Schumacher must be looking in front of him here and thinking, look at Sergio Perez, look at Danny Ricciardo, can we catch up to these guys? And then who knows, P4 could be on. So something for Mick Schumacher to have a little look at, but we don't want to bolt just yet, but we're keeping an eye now on this battle at the front. We've got Carlos Sainz going one way, we've got Charles Leclerc going the other. And at this moment in time, Lando Norris defending very, very well. Lap 44. Is he going to hold on to the lead? Here he is. He gets the better exit than Carlos Sainz. Job well done.
Now here we see.
Now let's have a little look at this. Max Verstappen running wide again. That's took his chance of the points out, and that's not been a good moment at all for Max Verstappen. But what crucially this means is we have got a VSC, and what we're now going to do is just conserve a little bit, because we understand here that when this VSC ends, we need to be pushing. We really need to be pushing here. Mick Schumacher is in P6. but the crucial restart on this VSC is going to be very, very important. Lap 50. Right, VSC ending, and Charles Leclerc has had an absolute blinder there, because what he's managed to do is pull out a 1.5 second gap on Sainz and Norris. Now, Norris has been told, you've got to get on with this now. You've really got to get on with this. If we're going to win this Grand Prix, we need to catch Charles Leclerc. We have got the better tyres. We are using overtake, and Lando Norris has got a 3-lap sprint to catch Charles Leclerc, overtake him and win the Italian Grand Prix. And straight away, we're trying our absolute utmost. We're deploying on ERS to catch up to Charles Leclerc. Then hopefully when we do, we will be able to overtake in the coming laps. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher now, he must have a massive tyre advantage. He does. He has a 10% tyre advantage on the cars around him. Mick Schumacher is also going to be told to deploy, but to try and pull away from the 3 cars behind him, namely Kevin Magnussen. But the gap we're all watching at the moment is Norris onto Leclerc, lap 51. And on lap 52, Lando Norris has caught up to Charles Leclerc. New fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Lando Norris, and it's all going to be on the last lap, I'm sure. We're going to bide our time here. We don't particularly want to be in front by the time we get to the start-finish straight, or do we? Who knows? We will see how this progresses with Lando Norris, but as we come on to lap 52, he is all over the back of Charles Leclerc, whose tyres are practically dead. Lando Norris has got the tyre advantage, as has Mick Schumacher in the Ferrari in P6. It's very hard to know which battle to keep up with at this moment in time. Mick Schumacher holding on beautifully to that position. Lando Norris is going for the move. We're going to ride on board. He's going for the move to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris, all the DRS down that straight. Beautiful work from him, and all he's got to do now is defend one more lap, and Lando Norris will win the Italian Grand Prix for the Scuderia Ferrari. It's going to be an absolutely classic finish, this. Mick Schumacher is in a P6. He's handing off Magnussen and Albon at this moment in time, and here goes Lando Norris. We're not going to deploy down this first straight, although saying that we will defend. We're going to try and defend down at the start-finish straight. Charles Leclerc looks like he's got the pace in that Red Bull. Has he managed to get past Lando Norris? He certainly has. Lando Norris will not have the lead of the Grand Prix after turn 1. The Tifosi are not enjoying that. Mick Schumacher in a very similar position here in P6. It's time for Lando Norris now to get his foot down. Is he going to make a move here? It doesn't look like he is. Into this turn, he isn't. He's going to have to set himself up for the next DRS straight. That is where he's got to overtake, and overtake he may. Overtake's been told. Can he get past Charles Leclerc on the last lap of the Grand Prix to win the Italian Grand Prix? He's using all of the overtake. He gets past Charles Leclerc, and Lando Norris is into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix on the last lap, and he's pulled out a nice gap there as well. That's a beautiful bit of driving. Mick Schumacher also being told to defend in P6. We don't need to watch that replay again because we saw it live. Lando Norris is now going to be told to be aggressive on the tyres. Do everything you possibly can to defend down the start-finish straight, but as Lando Norris comes round the final corner, the Tifosi are going wild because Lando Norris has won the Italian Grand Prix in a Ferrari. Beautiful work from him. And Mick Schumacher, what a fantastic performance as well, coming around the final corner, and Mick Schumacher will get P6 for the team. Good work from him. No points for Max Verstappen. This could be a massive, massive weekend in terms of both titles. Let's get to the podium because Ferrari win in Italy.
Lando Norris can be proud. What a fantastic performance from him. What a beautiful sight that is on the podium, and a true crowning achievement for everyone involved. And after such a fabulous drive here today, It's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
Lando landing on the podium, and it's nice to see an Aston Martin up there as well. It must be said, Lando Norris started on pole, finished in first. My breath's absolutely gone after commentating on that. Fantastic work from him. Charles Leclerc P2, great drive from him, and Carlos Sainz as well, very well. Sergio Perez will be ruining that mistake he made earlier on in the Grand Prix. Danny Ricciardo in P5 again, and Mick Schumacher, despite his mistake, if he hadn't had that mistake, maybe P4 and P5 were on today, but it's still very good points for the team. The two Audis giving a very strong showing in 7th and 8th. Russell P9 and Valtteri Bottas, the two Mercedes, down in P9 and P10. Driver standings wise, Lando Norris extends his lead once again at the top of the driver standings, now 80 points in front of Charles Leclerc. Mick Schumacher gains 8 points and closes up a little bit to Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen scores no points this weekend, but constructor standings wise is where it's getting very, very tasty, because we are now just 11 points behind Red Bull. It's going to be very, very close. We've got 6 races left to go. This could really, really go down to the wire in terms of constructors' standings. I hope you've enjoyed that one. My breath's gone. We'll see you on the next one. Please like and subscribe. Ta-ra.